Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Mike here. Hope you're having a great day or night. I want to thank all of you guys that watched the previous video and decided to educate yourself and purchase my dollar store deal package. So today's video actually is, it's hot as heck out here. It's like 113 degrees. I'm running to the post office right now. So what I need you guys to do is either you got one of two things, right? Because that's what you do when you watch the channel here. You can either grab the popcorn or you can grab the notepad. So let's see what we do today. To give you an idea, this post office is usually slam packed. I mean slam packed. There's nobody here because it's just so freaking hot. It's so hot, man. Ugh. Let's go hump this to the post office and get the heck out of Dodge. Okay, we need to talk about your behavior, little girl. Seriously, you are so out of control, it's not even funny, right, Kim?
Yes.
This little dog is terrified in here. Terrified. From you. Look how big you've gotten. Huge. You're cute. You're cute. But you're crazy, doggy. Crazy, doggy. Okay, Kim, we need to have a serious talk about a comment I saw the other night in Resellers Roundtable. So we gotta have a sit down. Can we do this?
Yeah. Let me just get ready for the show.
For the show? Do you guys have your popcorn and notepads ready?
Some have popcorn, some have notepads.
That's a new saying. It's gonna be implemented in the channel.
That's right.
Popcorn or notepads? Which one is it? All right, so 2 days ago, a woman posted on Facebook. She said that, you know, she's trying to scale her business. Hey!
All right. We'll just keep Pookie over the...
Yeah, all right.
Okay, here we go, Pookie.
Can you sit? Sit. Okay, that's a good girl.
Okay. Pookie on the lap? Okay. Okay.
Let me just sit. No. Okay, how about that? Let's see how we go.
There we go.
All right, so a couple days ago, a woman posted on Facebook. She's like, I'm trying to kind of scale my business. She's got so much stuff going on in terms of like, she's got stuff everywhere, right?
Yes.
But she's got a young one. She's got kids to take care of. And she wanted to know pricing for having a lister, an employee.
So she was asking what people charge to, or pay to hire somebody.
Yeah.
To help them.
So, you know, I waited and 3-4 hours went by, and this is in Resellers Roundtable. Nobody replied back to her. So I said, listen, I'm more than happy to kind of help out.
Sure.
And I asked just some specific questions, and I said, you know, 1, how long have you been reselling for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2, how many items do you have listed and what platforms are you selling on? And 3, do you have any cash flow? Do you have any money in the bank saved up? Mm-hmm. You know? And I was just asking specific questions. That way I could gauge an answer for them.
Well, you could give her more of a tailored answer then,
Yeah.
instead of just a general, pay them $10 an hour or something.
Yeah, so anyway, I didn't get a reply, and then I just, the comment, the post disappeared. She must have deleted it.
Deleted it then. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the problem when you're trying to get advice out of a Facebook group. You know, like, if you're coming into like our Facebook group, I mean, I'll try to help you the best I can. But if it's somebody just asking something that's such an in-depth question, even though we don't know, like,
There wasn't a simple answer to her question, really.
so I don't know if she got offended or what the deal was, but I thought we could talk about this topic here today because we have experience hiring helpers and we've had experience with employees. And I was writing some stuff down here, you know, like in Illinois, we had 3 or 4 full-time employees at one time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we started off with this warehouse. If you've been watching for a long time, you know we had this warehouse, et cetera, et cetera. But they were paid hourly. Mm-hmm. One was paid hourly plus like bonuses. I was giving them bonuses, and it was great. But it's like anything; it's ups and downs. So then, you know, when we moved here, we had a part-time people and we had full-time people, and what we were paying them was $1 per listing plus 5% of the profit, and that was just for them to take photos.
Off of what they listed.
Of what? No, just to take photos.
No, the 5% profit.
What they listed.
What they had done.
Of what that photograph was.
Not 5% overall. If it was something from 3 years ago that sold, they didn't get 5%.
No,
of
only
that.
if they took an item that they photographed and I paid them $1 on. When it sold, I gave them 5%. So kind of like an incentive thing.
Yeah.
And then we had a different level where it was $3 per item plus 8% of the profit. Now that's if they took the item, listed the item, took photographs, and did packaging.
Kind of start to finish.
Yeah,
with it.
pretty much.
Okay.
So those kind of worked out, and this is that. Now, there's so many advantages and disadvantages to all this.
For sure.
Advantages here, free up time to put effort elsewhere. You can scale faster to some extent, right?
What do you mean by that?
So, like, you could generate more income. If
Okay.
you have somebody listing the stuff that you typically list, you can either be listing more with them or buying more or whatever like that is, but you would think that when you add somebody to the equation for your reselling business, it should equal more money.
So this was something that you and I were talking about when we had sat down to talk about doing this, was that just because you add somebody to the equation, you would think, just logically thinking, if I have twice as many people listing, then I'm going to make twice as much money, or the potential is there to make twice as much money. But, and maybe you have this on the pitfalls as well, or the downsides, but that's not always necessarily the case.
Yeah.
You could be listing 2-3 times as much stuff and still only sell the same amount.
Yeah. If you know what I mean, it's quite possible. Like, you could try to figure all this out on paper and think you have the answer to everything, but until you're actually in the field doing this, I mean, it can go haywire. And we'll talk about that. You know, another way was, I just wrote down the advantages, increasing weekly and monthly sales. Hypothetically, you would think by getting somebody else in the mix, right, to just because they're listing more, you would automatically think you're getting more sales.
Well, it just is sheer economics at that point. The more you have out there, the more opportunity for people to buy, or something that someone's going to see that they want to buy. And so it just makes sense that then you'd have more sales.
Yeah. And then, obviously the biggest advantage is you can source more items. You can, if you're going out and getting the items, and you can eliminate yourself from that task of taking photographs, listing items.
You're just bringing it back.
You could just be a sourcer all day.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the most amazing job you can have.
Well, that's the fun part, isn't it?
Because it is.
Yeah.
But, I think, everybody asks, how do you scale this? How do you make more money with reselling? And I think a lot of it is just, before you start looking at should I hire an employee or a worker, is you got to test this business yourself. You really truly do. You have to give it a 6 months to a year. That's what I would recommend before you start jumping in and hiring people.
Well, and if you're somebody that has a full-time job and you're doing this part-time or just for extra money, and everybody's different, I don't really see where there'd be an advantage to it.
Especially if you're doing just the eBay. Like, if it's just eBay, because eBay's a lot more intensive than it is Amazon. Yeah. Amazon, you can say, hey, package up all these, put some barcodes on them, out the door you go. Yeah. Right? Let that be done.
That's true.
That's a little more scalable, but I'm just generally talking about eBay here.
Yeah.
So, the disadvantages are one, you got to train people.
That's true.
So you're going to have some time invested to train these individuals on how you want these tasks done.
And it's not, let's talk about that for just a second, because it's not like it's so hard to make an eBay listing, but it takes a certain skill set and a certain time and trial and error to learn how to describe them, the product listings, and to photograph well.
Yeah, attention
We
to
have
detail.
had so many problems trying to teach people how to take a good photograph for eBay. Really, we've had my sister doing it, and she did okay. Yeah. But people have to take.
And we had one kid who came in there, and I had 100 pieces of clothing. I'm not gonna mess his name. 100 pieces of clothing, and we said, "All right, go knock your socks out." Right? Yeah. He came back 20 minutes later. I'm done. And I looked at the photographs, and half of them were blurry, half of them were. Yeah. He was just throwing the clothing up there. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm like, I said, I can't use any of these.
And then we had one that took so many pictures of minutia that it wasn't even it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. If you're going to do the dollar per item, the first thing as a human being is you're going to say, well, the more I can do in an hour, the more I'm going to make in an hour.
Right.
So you're going to try every little shortcut
to get 100 items.
To get 100 items. Yeah. $100.
For sure.
Right. So the training with pricing, pictures, description, how to package it correctly. Then you get the supervising after the fact. Just so they did all that for you, now you got to go back and actually look at the active listing. Is it priced accordingly? Do they have the right keywords?
Right, because there's a trust factor. Until someone's been doing it a while and they've proven that they consistently do the right thing, you have to monitor every single thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like, give them that freedom to go, okay, I've shown you how to do it, you go ahead and do it, but before, like, it's active, you have to relook at everything. And it's like you're doing the work twice almost.
It is. So, like, you know, and I know how I am. I'm kind of a perfectionist with the stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm always finding something wrong.
Yeah.
Even for some of these people, when we were in Illinois, they were doing it for years.
Yeah.
And always find something wrong. Because there's millions of different things that go on with all these different products. You know? I mean, it's almost, at the end of the day, there's way too much information in the head about reselling here.
See, and that's
that the average
exactly what
person
I was
didn't figure
going
out.
to say, is that, I mean, even when I've tried to help you, I don't like helping him with that part. I'm going to be quite honest with you, because here's why. I have my own way that I think it should be done, or I don't know something. It's all in your head.
Yeah.
You have this vision of exactly what you want, exactly how you want the pictures, the description, whatever, and I never do it exactly what's in your head.
But, you know, the thing is, like, it's a sacrifice, too. If you're good at it, and I can trust you, okay, she knows what she's doing, I'm not going to nitpick this thing, just be done with it.
Right.
And that's what it is. You just got to get over it.
But at first,
there's a lot of things you're looking at and like, oh man, hey, did you not look up this keyword correctly? Because how could, if you handed somebody, let's say a Pendleton flannel button up, what would somebody do? Would they know the actual pattern color? Would they know all the specifics to put in there?
No.
You know, then you start.
Your average person, is not going to know that.
Yeah, and so it's an in-depth training to get the right people. But here's the thing: I think that one of the disadvantages here is it's out-of-pocket cash. Yeah. So you come to an agreement, whatever the price may be, whether it's hourly, it's per item, or whatever it may be, whatever system you got, you got to shell that money out. Meaning,
whether or not you've sold enough to cover it.
Yeah. So you just can't sit there and say, well, I had an amazing week on eBay. We made $1,000 here. It's time for me to hire an employee. Yeah. Because if you have $1,000, and you know, to some people it's a lot of money, but at some point, you know, throwing $1,000 to give somebody else $600 of that to do some work for you, and it's like we were talking about before, and it's eBay. It's somewhat unpredictable.
Yeah.
What if you go 2 weeks without one sale?
You still have to pay that person.
Still have to pay that person.
So it's something that I think people don't think that hard about. That. Oh, I need an employee. If I get an employee, it sounds on the surface like such a great idea.
Yeah.
People don't. I don't think a lot of people think about all these.
I don't think
things.
they do.
I really don't. And I'll be honest. When we first hired an employee, we didn't either.
No, we had to learn it.
Like we did not think about all these like the fact that you have to go back and make sure they've done everything right. Like we didn't even consider that into the equation when we were talking about, can we afford to do this, whatever. So these are things that we've learned through trial and error.
I mean, I remember sitting there many times, and I'm just being honest, like in Illinois, everybody got paid except me. I had to come to you and I said, there's no money. You know?
That does not go over
And, you know, that's not fun. Everybody else got taken care of, but that was the responsibility as becoming an employer. You know, I don't want to let people down.
Well, and I can remember a million times you coming home, you know, cussing up a storm. How can they not take these photographs right? How can they not? And I'd have to, you know, that's where kind of the teacher comes in where I say, well, I don't think you explained it. Sometimes, and that's the other thing, and it's not just you, it's people in general. You explain something, you know what's in your head, and it makes perfect sense to you coming out of your mouth, but somebody else is like, I am not really understing what you're saying.
I mean, I remember...
But they don't want to say anything, because they don't want to look stupid.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It's like, you know, when we're doing the screen printing in Illinois. I had one individual do it. I got it handled. I said, stamp out a couple for me. Perfect. Well, I let him go for 3 hours. I start looking at the shirts. All the graphics are crooked.
Oh my God!
I'm like, how is this possible? I said, listen, not trying to be a jerk. I said, but this was a rush order, and now all these shirts are pretty much garbage. I can't hand these in to people.
No, we couldn't.
So you know, there's gonna be
that costs us a ton of money.
Yeah, there's gonna be some times where it's just whatever your business is. You know, reselling here. There's, you know, you're talking about selling stuff from thrift stores or clothing or electronics or video games. If you got other tasks involved, you know, it can mess you up. You know, and the other thing is too, one of the disadvantages, working out of your house. All right, how are you gonna, if you're running your business now out of your house or your apartment or whatever it is, you're gonna bring somebody in your house now, right? So you got to trust this person.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of level of trust. First of all, that they're just not going to murder you. They didn't just like, no, for real.
Oh, no.
Like that they're not just going to like.
I think we can talk very highly about this because they've seen how many people come here and work for us and do things for us.
I know.
And it's sketchy.
I know. It's not exactly my cup of tea all the time, but for real, and especially if, you know, this particular person was a mom. She said she's got, you know, taking
Young
care of
kids.
her kids and whatever. I mean, it's true, a real safety factor. I mean, they say Ted Bundy was charming as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no one would have thought it of
You
it.
know, and obviously that's the last thing you want to think of, but you have to think about that. Like, hey, they got the perfect smile, they're so friendly, and they've got 1,000 friends on Facebook.
Right, well...
I'll be honest, and I'm just being honest, I don't trust a lot of people.
No.
I mean, I'm giving, and I'm more like, you know, open to, hey, you come to me, oh, all right, I'll help you out here, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm watching them in the corner of my eye, you know?
So safety is a huge concern.
Yeah. The other one is do you trust them enough to bring them in your home to learn your business model of how you're making money that pays that individual when they can in reality figure out what you're doing and then bolt out the door and do the exact same thing you're doing and put you out of business? I've heard so many people say this, you know, where, hey, when I was, 7 years ago, thrifting was all the rage, you know, and all the garage sales were wide open. And then they had employees, they had 3 or 4 of them. And then every one of their employees left because they were seeing the money. You can't, if they're doing the listings for you, they see the dollar amounts that are coming through, right?
And the basics of this is, it's not difficult.
No, this
the
isn't.
basics are not difficult. It's the nuances and all of that you have to learn. But I mean, you know, in general, I mean, it's not a.
So are you willing to
hard.
take that risk for whatever number you think's in your head to say, oh, when I get this employee, it'll automatically boost up our sales by 80, 90,000, right? That I can't answer that question for you because there's so many variables in a reselling business. There's so many variables with eBay in terms of, well, how much money do you get?
I don't see how anybody could give you
can't.
that guarantee that if you get an employee, it's going to boost your sales.
You can't.
I don't even know that you could guarantee it's going to boost your sales 10%.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest because you don't know. It's such a fickle market.
And here's the thing. I can give you numbers on what we did with employees and helpers, but that is completely different than what any one of you guys would have. So
yeah, it's all different.
You know,
and
when you
it
hear
depends
people saying,
on the
listen,
platform and I mean everything.
yeah, and is there longevity to it? Obviously, as we're sitting here right now,
We don't have employees.
we don't have employees, we don't have workers. And the reason that is because from our experience now, this is our experience.
Right.
I wouldn't call this a burden, but there was a lot of ups and downs. And when I started looking at the numbers going, well, shoot, would we rather make $100,000 by ourselves, or would we rather just make $55,000 and we're paying everybody else over here? And we're really not benefiting anymore, right? We've actually downgraded what we thought by investing in people for our business that we'd be on the up. But the reality was we were on the down because of the overhead.
Right.
And that leads up to this, you know, a disadvantage too. You're not doing it at your house, you're doing it at a building.
Well, then you've upped the ante at that point.
Yeah.
Because now you've got the rent, you've got the utilities, you've got the employees, you've got insurance, you know, then you've really, and that's the other thing too, depending on your state and how many employees you have, the laws that you have to pay out for unemployment. And so, I mean, we always kind of stayed under with that. We didn't have to do that, but I mean, the laws have changed even since then, that if you have X amount of employees, you have to provide health insurance. So
it ain't cheap.
no, it's not cheap. And so that's one of the things that, again, people don't realize.
Yeah. Now, now I want to make this clear. If you've been doing reselling or eBay, e-commerce business for a long time, you know what we're talking about here, right?
Sure, for
but
sure.
you're also, I'm not saying that, you know, people that have employees aren't making any money.
Oh, no.
I know a lot of people that are, right? It's just not for us in terms of what we're doing at this moment right now. Now, if we ever got the Franco Pizzeria going, yeah, there'll be employees, right? Or selling Cinnabons on the side of the road, sure. But for my reselling business, you know, it's just not feasible for us.
Here's what would need to happen. First of all, for us to ever have a building again, we would have to get one heck of a deal.
We would buy the building.
Yeah.
Because that would eliminate the biggest cost in terms of
Rent.
renting it and not having control. And this will go into a whole other story, what happened to one of our warehouses in Illinois of not having control, but
yeah, so I mean, it would take a bit. But from our experience with that though, one of the biggest keys is that you have to have the money to sustain yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're gonna open a store or have anywhere that you think that, you know, people might come into or anything, because that's the big talk too. It's, oh, I can't wait to open my own shop or whatever,
sure.
right?
It's good to dream.
But you can't expect that 100,000 people are going to walk through the door the first month, the first week, the first day. You know, I feel like that's a pipe dream. And people try and sell that pipe dream all day long.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having ideas and being creative and thinking on the road.
No, absolutely not. But there
once
needs
you've
to
been
be some
through,
realistic
But see,
things.
people can't see that even, and I'm not trying to put us up above everybody else. It's just we've been through these things, and we see how they go, right?
I
That's
just
why
feel
we're
like
making this
people
video.
need to be honest about it.
Yeah.
That you have to be prepared to take a hit, to take a loss. Now, you might do good the first week, the first month, the first 6 months. Is it sustainable? You know, or you might not have one single person come in the first 3 months. You know, maybe the marketing isn't good, or maybe the location's not good. And then what are you going to do? The point is, if it doesn't go like your dream says, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to sustain it?
Yeah.
Now, if you figure, let's just say you're paying $1,000 rent on the building. Let's just say, could be more, could be less. Then you've got utilities. Let's say heat, air,
$500.
electric. Let's say that's another $500. Okay, so now you're at $1,500 in just utilities that are due. They don't care.
Yeah.
Now you're going to need internet access.
So
Okay, so tack on another how much for that, right? Incidentals, office supplies,
Signage,
all
graphics.
that. So let's say you're in it for $2,000 a month, including marketing, materials, and things like that. So $2,000 a month that you have to spend before you've even hired an employee. Do you have enough to sustain that if not one single thing sells?
And see, in the typical
And if you do,
great. See, in a typical world, you come up with a game plan.
right?
You write it all down. It's called a business plan. I know it's simple for you guys, and I'm just throwing this out there.
No, for sure.
So you see it on paper, right? Like when you go, you want a loan from your bank because you think you've got this reselling figured out and you're going to crush it.
Right.
You're going to have to show your banker the numbers.
Right.
And they're going to look at it, they're going to analyze it. But all of that comes into play, and then there's money, right? So to have big dreams, I'm not trying to deflate people's dreams, but at the same point, you know, realistically, if you're going to start going into brick and mortar, into a warehouse, into employees, you need to start having some serious bankroll behind you.
And
right?
you
If
need
you're
to
looking for
really
longevity.
you need to think about it. You really do. You need to say to yourself, hey, my business is doing great. I want to bump it to the next level. I want to get a building. I want to do this, and that's exciting. And there is no reason to not think that way.
Yeah.
But take a step back and just think about really what the costs are going to be. And truly, if nothing sells this month, let's just say it doesn't, or one thing sells, can you afford it?
Yeah.
Can you afford it the next month if it's slow and only a few
Or if
things
your business
sell?
is solely designed around the internet and the internet goes down or something crazy, because you got to look at these situations. Then what? What happens to your business then? You're in a brick and mortar. You don't open the door to your public.
Right.
You'll be opening the door to the public pretty soon once you realize the internet's gone 2
Then
weeks.
you've got another liability when you open to the public.
But
so
see, all this is just, you know, I wanted to share this story with you guys so you can see this, right? So if you're just starting off reselling, go out there. You're at the infancy stage here where your number one priority is to make money.
you.
You make money. You got to prove to yourself first that you can take the steps from making $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, $50,000, $100,000.
Can I offer a recommendation to this woman in case she's watching?
Yeah.
She wanted somebody to help her list and whatever, right? My honest suggestion to you would be, instead of hiring somebody to help you list, hire a mother's helper to come in, take care of some of the housework, take care of the kids, and you do the listing and you do that. I think you would be better off, because I get it. I mean, I've been a mom, I've been a stay-at-home mom. There is so much to do. I've been a working mom. So you can't do everything.
Now you're a puppy mom.
And now I'm a puppy mom. So, you know, you can't do everything. And honestly, if you're looking at, you're like, I just need help, I think is probably where it stemmed from. And I think for you, the best thing would be hire somebody a couple times a week for a few hours to go take the kids to the park, or to help, you know, clean up the house and watch the kids while you have a few dedicated hours to just doing this. I think, and
That would
I
be a
don't know,
solution for her.
I don't know
We
her
don't-
business.
Yeah.
I don't know where she's at, but if the way that it's being described is she's this, you know, mom that just wants a little extra help to try and make some more income, that would be my suggestion.
You know, the other thing too is you got to really truly know when you step into these program here that you got to know what you're paying per hour, period, before you start selling. Like, what is it? You got the employee, you got your lights in the house, you got everything. Is what do you need for the basics to cover your hourly wage for your living? Right? Before you start running off and trying to hire people, whatever, you got to know your numbers in terms of sales. Some people think, you know, and I'm not trying to put down other people or anything. I've seen YouTube videos. All people do is sell $8, $9 items shipped on eBay, and they're talking about how they're a millionaire. It's scary. And then if you do the numbers, just, you know, $1 million divided by $10, right?
Yeah.
You come up with this crazy amount of items to ship out in a day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you got to know your ROIs. You got to know your price points. You know, when you start going from getting employees, if your, you know, average sale price is $20, you need to start looking at how you can add $50 average sale prices, $100 average sales prices.
If your average sales point is $20, and then take out fees and shipping, okay, let's just say you're at $15.
$15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you add an employee on there. I mean, if that employee is making $8 an hour, you've now only made $7 an hour.
If that one item sells, if you sell
that,
50
right.
an hour, great.
So,
But the thing is, like, you just got to know your numbers. So, you know, I see so much just out there, and it's like, you know, should I hire an employee? Should I get a lister? You know, like, I'm going to keep saying this. Go run this business for a good 6 months to a year and a half to see the stability. Because right now, and this will be for a video probably tomorrow, there are people losing their ass right now, right? With the summer slowdown. That, you know, that token phrase that, we're not going to get into that, but there are people struggling right now. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm taking advantage of people and people that don't know what's going on in terms of they're desperate, they need things to sell, okay? That's a whole nother video in itself, but it's crazy when you think about it, right? If this is your first summer and you're reselling, you're like, what has happened? You know, first off, the marketplace is down, eBay's down 23%.
I feel like
there's issues. I mean, I'm not saying we're high off the hog here, freaking making 10,000 a day, but
it's pretty down.
It's
all
down.
Across the board.
But we expect that, and we
prepare.
We have revenue set aside. You know, we're prepared for these things, so the bottom doesn't fall out. Right. If you're not prepared for these things, and the bottom's falling,
been there.
Yes,
we have been there.
The only reason we're even on here and feeling comfortable enough to talk to you guys about it is because we've been there. You know, and I'm sure other people's journeys.
It's not a good thing.
We've talked about it before. We've had to take our wedding rings and pawn them, and that's when we had our store in Illinois. You know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And if you're in that situation right now, just before we end this, and you're sitting around and you're like, "Oh, it's rough," well, you know what? You got to look around your house first and say to yourself, "What don't I need?" Because everything is at the end of the day, it's materialistic things. It's
you can get it back.
Yeah. Do you want the lights on? Do you want to be able to pay the rent, the mortgage, the car payment? Well, if you have a PS4 or some video game system or whatever it is there, do you really need that right now? Because you have more problems than you realize that if you need to keep, if PS4 is a priority. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if the
you
PS4,
can't feed your family.
But you're sitting there playing PS4 games all day.
And you have no money, you know, or a smartphone.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta sacrifice in life. A lot of people can't get over that hurdle of sacrifice when times are rough. And I'm going to be honest, we sacrificed, and that's what the sacrifice has gotten us to where we are here.
Yeah.
Which I think we live a pretty comfortable life, you know. But it didn't happen just from us buying some ebook or listening to somebody on YouTube. We actually had to come from the bottom. You know what I mean? and deal with the issues.
And there was no YouTube there was YouTube, but there was not really a learning curve.
No.
The learning curve was on our own. There wasn't anybody to help.
Because it was so new when it came to
Squash it.
e-commerce.
Yeah.
So, we had to learn our first time during the summer. Our first year, I remember going, what happened here?
Yeah.
So.
We had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
School of hard knocks.
Yeah, it's crazy. But all this just comes down to like the motto of the channel. You just got to find out what works for you. You really do.
Absolutely.
And hopefully listening to this here today, you maybe get a tip or something that maybe could spark joy, but something that you can hear and go, okay, wait a minute, if Mike went down this road,
something you can use.
Something you can use, something that you could take away and be realistic with it, right?
Because if nothing else, they should learn that it is hard work. That it's not just, oh, I buy this one thing and I make $1 bazillion, and you have to get off your couch, get off your butt, and go out there and make it happen.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Right now, you might have started this video with the popcorn, and we hope by the end of this video you might replay it and say, I gotta get my notebook.
I gotta go get a notepad.
Notepad.
Yeah.
So popcorn or notepad, which one are you? Leave a comment down below. But you can
do both. I can eat popcorn
Sure.
anytime. So you could be eating the popcorn and writing at the same time.
Yeah.
That's fine. But don't just be one or the other.
Yeah.
Don't just be the popcorn.
Especially
Don't be popcorn.
I don't feel like right now anybody should struggle financially. I know there's a lot. Put the effort into it. I think if most people put the effort into making a little bit more money, especially with reselling, first off, reselling is not like it's a banker job making 6 figures, right? But if it's just a matter of, hey, listen, I only have 5 items listed on eBay right now, and yeah, I want to start getting a bigger savings account or invest in this. Well, then go list another 5 right now. Turn the video off and just do it.
Well, people can be struggling, but you know what? There's always a way out of the struggle.
Figure it out.
I think that's the thing. There's a way out of the struggle if you are determined and if you are willing to make sacrifices.
And the number one sacrifice is understanding your cost, the budget. Then look around your home and say, okay, do I need this? Do I need that? Let me sell this. Let me sell that. Oh, do I need this brand new 2019 freaking, Mercedes?
And if you need to sell it for less than what you really want for
to get some cash flow
just to get something in, then that's what you got to do.
Take a loss. If you're in a house right now and it was valued $420,000 2006, but now it's only $320, and you have a positive flow there, and you're a little older in life, well, it's down. It's not going to probably ever go back up for you. Just sell it.
Or
sell it and go to a better position.
With something like that, then I guess I'd probably try and stay in it and hope that it.
Well, sure, if it was paid off. But what I'm saying, if you're looking at things, and but the first thing that I think of is materialistic things, and then going, it's the do I need this? It's that spark joy thing.
Well, that's exactly right. Do I need it? Do I really have to have it to survive? Because if you're really that far down, then it's about survival.
Yeah.
Do I need this radio to survive? No, I don't. Selling it. Put it on local, put it online, put it somewhere, but
hey, if the lights are turned off,
$30 that someone's going to give me. It might be worth $200, but I'll take 30.
If the lights are turned off, how are these books really worth anything? How am I gonna read my books?
Right.
In the dark? That's a good book, by the way. Classic Rock T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like, what good is that? Even though there's some decent books in here, but they'd be worthless if the power's turned off.
Truly, everything is worthless if you can't provide for your basic needs.
Yeah. So.
Right.
All right. Video's gone long enough
Okay.
here. Thanks, Kim, for stepping in the captain's chair. Hopefully, you guys got some value out of this.
Can we tell this real quick?
Yeah.
I got this from an auction.
We showed it.
Did we?
Yeah.
If you remember, I got this
remember?
from the auction. This is like my favorite
That's
chair.
nice,
I
yeah.
love this chair. This was like the best buy.
So if you guys found some value in this, hit the thumbs up button.
And the poopy likes
And if you're new to this channel here and you're watching, hit subscribe. There's a lot of information coming ahead. There's a lot of information in the past, but all this comes down to is just finding out what works for you, and that's what you got to do here today. So appreciate you watching. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace. Is this a vlog? Is it what is it?
Video?
It's a video.
Informational video?
It's popcorn and notepads. All right, it's over.